Shalom, all praises, glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem HaKadosh. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who are the true leaders of Israel today. And salutations to all of the Akim who do this work in truth and sincerity, who risking their lives and their freedoms to do so, as well as the scattered Israelites who come looking like the heathen, but are not by way of their forefathers' seeds who are Israelite men. The true name of the Most High is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahushai, and the Lord's holy chosen people are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as we're the ones who are suffering under the curses in the book of Deuteronomy. My name is Akalio, and this is an update regarding the Mark of the Beast prophecy, which is the microchip. Alright, so here it is from biometricupdate.com. Nepal makes national ID the trust layer for digital payments. Alright, so before I get into the article, let's just read the scripture, Revelation 13 and verse 16. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. The ones who will be causing this are the ones who are in rulership, who are the Edomites, who are these so-called white people. Specifically, their ruling class, who is the wicked elite of Esau, Edom, who are the elite bankers. All right, they have an agenda at hand, and their agenda is called, well, Agenda 2030. The digital age, the intelligence age, the fourth industrial revolution. All right, these are just names for really what is their new world order. And their new world order is about transforming the world into a digital society, which is them introducing a next level slavery system, which is going to be a slavery system within these digital prisons, which they're going to be building these 15-minute cities and these smart cities, right? Where then they are going to microchip their slaves, insert something into the body of the slaves, and this is what the mark of the beast is. So this is their end game goal, all right? And then the control that they will establish by doing this. So what we're witnessing right now is simply the implementation of the system to allow the microchip to work on this global scale, which it would also become mandatory in order to buy and sell. So the scripture will get into that, but it says, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, all right, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right, so it doesn't matter who you are, social status or anything. All right, he calls it all. And so the mark is the microchip in their right hands or in their foreheads. And so the microchip technology is now available in both the hand and the forehead. The forehead, they are the brain microchips. They are known as BCIs, which is a brain computer interface. That's the brain microchip. Okay, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right, so it's going to get to the point where in order to buy and sell, that an individual will have to have the mark, which is a microchip. All right, and we know that it essentially means that individuals are going to be shut out from everything that society has to offer unless that individual has the microchip. This is where it is going to get to. Okay, so knowing that the mark of the beast is a microchip, we observe everything that's going on regarding the prophecy. So we know that the microchip technology is out there, both in the forehead and in the hand, but the prophecy has not been fulfilled as yet, even though the microchip is out there. Why? It's because the prophecy is fulfilled when he calls it all. All right, and so we look at the various different systems, such as the smart cities and 15-minute cities, which are the digital cities, the digital prisons that they're building up to place the people in. And then they are developing their DPI, which is digital public infrastructure, regarding the central bank digital currencies, which is all about transferring the money away from, or rather transitioning the money from the cash to digital money, right? And then they also have the digital ID system, which they're implementing. So the CBDC, the transformation of the money to digital money, is because the microchip, we have to understand what the microchip is and how it functions. Okay, so the microchip itself, you can search RFID microchip, you can search biometric microchip, you can search transdermal microchip. It's all the same microchip performing the same exact function. I'm taking it here from biometric microchip. As you can see, this here, the microchip, that's the mark of the beast. That's an illustration, but I'll get the actual image soon. It says a biometric microchip is a tiny electronic tag placed under the skin or inside official documents Hold on. A biometric microchip is a tiny electronic tag placed under the skin or inside. The English is a little off. That's why it's throwing me off. Under the skin or inside official documents. Like something is off with what they're saying. I mean, I know what it's getting to, but you never know if somebody new is watching. Okay. So let's go to RFID microchip. All right, so that's it right here. That's the mark of the beast. Okay. All right. The Google is acting a little funny, but essentially the microchip is a small device inserted into the body, which has an individual's information stored on it, such as their biometric information and identification, their medical information, financial information, all of these things, right? So, you know, this is strange because it looks like they're reducing what they put here because it's looking different than the last time I searched it. Real talk. But it says here microchip implant, right? It says it's implanted in the body, and it uses this type of subdermal implant usually contains a unique ID number, which is going to be a biometric ID number, which is unique per individual, that can be linked to information contained in an external database such as identity document, criminal record, medical history, medications, address book, and other potential uses. So the microchip is a device that is an all for one use kind of thing, right? It can be used to, first of all, as it said, it stores an individual's information on it, medical information, financial information, biometric information, identification, etc., right? It can have address books in it, whatever is stored on it, okay? And this microchip can also be used to open up doors, for example. All right, so it has many different uses. So we know that the mark of the beast is a microchip and how it functions, right? And so knowing what it is and how it functions, right? This is it. That's it right there. Mark of the beast, the microchip. Knowing how it functions, we then look at what all is going on around the world, okay, regarding its development. And so Esau is simply just implementing his system day by day. And this is what these kinds of updates are about. So knowing the systems that are coming in to, you know, aid the microchip towards its eventual, you know, the mandatory microchipping around the world. I mentioned the CBDC and I mentioned the digital ID. Now, the digital ID itself is a stepping stone towards the microchip. All right, the digital ID, which was proposed by the World Economic Forum years ago, which has now been implemented in several countries around the world. That's the point that we're at right now. It shows us the digital ID, which is a place where they're consolidating an individual's information all into one place into this digital ID. So it includes your digital ID and your biometric information, right? Then it includes your healthcare, financial services, food and sustainability, travel and mobility, humanitarian response, e-commerce, social platforms, e-government, telecommunications, smart cities. So all of these things are attached to it, right? So you can see that this is something where they are consolidating an individual's data and information all into one place. And it's a digital ID. So this digital ID being a stepping stone towards a microchip, right? When it is that the prophecy comes to pass, they will simply already have a system in place where they already gathered up an individual's information into one place like this with the digital ID. And then they'll just transfer that onto the microchip. Simple like that. Okay? So that is why this is being observed. Now, Nepal makes national ID the trust layer for digital payments. Mobile wallet providers must verify users against the national identity database under new eKYC rules. The National Identity Card, NID, in Nepal is now a mandatory requirement for anyone conducting a transaction using the country's national digital payment system. So in Nepal, they have their national digital payment system up and running, and they also have digital ID up and running. This is a case for different countries around the world regarding the development of their central bank digital currencies and then their digital IDs, right? But what's interesting, just even regarding this first bit of information, knowing the prophecy, knowing everything that's going on with it, we can see what it is. They're simply tying together the digital ID, right? Well, now it's the national ID card, which it is going to become digital. Actually, let me Google to check to see if it is digital. Okay, so it is digital. Nepal's digital national ID system centers on a unique 10-digit national ID number, NIN, an online eNID download service, and mandatory integration with digital wallets and banking services. So you see, the digital ID in Nepal is merged, right, with a mandatory integration with digital wallet and banking services, which means that this is it. Digital ID and having payments attached to it, and it's a mandatory thing over there, right? So to make payments, to make these digital payments, the digital ID must be presented. So they're bringing it together, man. All right, this is the system, man, coming into fruition, right? So let's go back to this. According to the regulatory changes, users must link their national ID, which is digital, to their bank wallet service for digital payments by October 17th at the latest, after which they could face challenges. All right, so it's just a system coming into place, man. All right, simple like that, merging digital ID with payments, right? And the microchip itself, when it is scanned, right, when an individual has it and it's scanned, the information pulled off of it is the verification of the person's biometric ID, right? And then it verifies the payment information too, which it is all merged together, linked together, right? And that's what the microchip is, an all-for-one-use device. You see? So that's what's going on in Nepal. In Pakistan, they fast-track digital ID as Digital Nation Act takes effect. So it's all fast-tracking. Why is that? Because Esau wants to get this rolling, man. Okay? And all these countries around the world, they have to build up their digital public infrastructure in order for the microchip to work, right? Because the prophecy it's worldwide. So every single country around the world, man, that's, how the Lord determines it, right, will have it built up for where the individuals are going to be microchipped and functioning in those countries around the world. And every single country around the world is with this agenda. This is Esau's world. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. All right, and then you have this right here. Many roads to sustainable digital public infrastructure run through private sector biometric authentication, right? So you can see how everything is just tied together. Biometrics contracts from the global push for digital public infrastructure make the biggest waves on the public sector side between transparency and public scale. But some of the main paths to sustainable digital government service delivery over time involve the private sector far beyond registration and issuance drives, in particular for biometric authentication. Okay, so many DPI paths to the same destination. India's efforts to export DPI around the world have reached pilots of digital identity and payment architecture in 25 countries. Yeah, it's a worldwide thing. Okay, and there has been a very big push in India and China, the world's two largest populations. And also there has been a very big push in Africa as well. And see here they're talking about Nepal is upgrading the biometric infrastructure backing its national digital ID with an ABIS from in-group through a G2G arrangement. Okay, the country's current ABIS has a capacity of only a few thousand data entries. Okay, cool. So then Pakistan, then it talks about Rwanda, could act as a digital public infrastructure incubator for the whole continent of Africa. Trinidad and Tobago is taking a different approach with its DPI development, starting with the launch of National Digital Credential Verification Platform. Kazakhstan, another 15.5 member, right? Now this is the 15.5, right? The 15.5 is a campaign, a digital public infrastructure campaign, which Jamaica and Mexico joined last year. That's how I learned about it. All right. And since then, Jamaica has tried to accelerate its digital public infrastructure, but still lagging behind, though the digital ID and the central bank digital currency have been launched out here in Jamaica. But Mexico has gone full speed, far more advanced regarding their DPI than Jamaica since joining the 15.5 campaign, which is once again about improving a country's digital infrastructure, digital public infrastructure, right? So Kazakhstan moving along. Ethiopia is building sustainability into its DPI. Countries implementing M0TB are taking several paths to digital identity sustainability. All right, so you can see it, man. And it doesn't list every single country around the world, but we know what it is, right? And you know, you can do individual research per country to see what's going on. For example, which country can I think of? I don't know. Let's think of Brazil. Brazil digital ID. Let's see what's going on with Brazil. Brazil's digital ID system centers on the Carteira de Identidade Nacional. Yeah, so they got their digital ID out there. Okay, let's check their Brazil CBDC, what's going on here. Brazil's central bank digital currency CBDC is named Drex. So they got, I mean, boom. Let's look at another country. What other countries there around the world that I can think of? So it's South America. We know how Europe is all developing. Africa's developing very quickly. You know what? Let's take a look at Iran, right? Because people are under the impression, certain impressions regarding what's going on around the world. And the thing is that, remember this. This is Esau's kingdom, the so-called white man's kingdom. They're in full and absolute control. They're in their blessing, right? The war that we're witnessing, that's theater. Things are really happening. People are really perishing, things like that. But it's theater regarding that it's not really what they say it is for. They have ulterior motives going on with it. And all of these leaders around the world, they are in the pockets of the wicked elite of Esau Edom. Never forget that. So let's take a look at Iran, because every single country around the world is moving along with the agenda of the wicked elite of Esau Edom, the elite bankers, right? So one would assume that, okay, well, you know, given what's going on, maybe, you know, because Iran seems, you know, because there's this this sort of narrative that's out there where it's like, oh, Iran is rebellious, Iran is against whatever. But let's take a look. Iran digital ID. Let's see if they have a digital ID up. Iran's digital ID system integrates the physical smart national ID card with centralized e-government and telecommunications infrastructure, serving as a core tool for both digital services and state population surveillance. So they got their digital ID. Yeah? Okay, now let's see. Do they have a CBDC? What's going on here? Iran CBDC. Iran's central bank digital currency, known as the digital rial or crypto rial, is a state-backed electronic currency developed to modernize national payments and test retail transactions using the Borno platform built on Hyperledger Fabric. See? Just Google these countries around the world, man. Just Google each individual country around the world and you will find that the CBDC and digital ID are being developed or already launched, right? I didn't know this about Brazil and Iran, but I just simply typed it in. Any other countries? Let's do one more. I'm thinking of something obscure, but I can't really think of any. Anyway, I think I made the point, right? You can just Google and you can just find that all of these countries are moving along with the agenda, which speaks to the times that we're in. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3. Yeah. It says, the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So the vision are these prophecies. And the main prophecy we're looking out for is the mark of the beast prophecy, which is America chip. Right? The destruction of America, Babylon the Great. And the salvation, right? The return of our Lord Yahushua, which will be the moment where there's salvation for the elect of the nation of Israel. All of that cannot take place until the mark of the beast prophecy is fulfilled. All right? But given all that is going on, it's speaking very loudly, man. Okay? You know what? Let's do one more. Let's do one more in the Caribbean. Puerto Rico. That's what came to mind. Digital ID. Let's see what's going on there. Puerto Rico allows residents to add their driver's license or state ID to Apple Wallet and Google Wallet. Okay. So there's no... They use that, but hold on. Oh, okay. I see the method they're using. They're going the route of the mobile, the MDL, which is the mobile driver's license, which is a digital ID. That is actually what... it makes sense because Puerto Rico is an extension of America, right? But the way America has been sneaking in the digital ID is that they've been introducing these mobile driver's licenses. So it makes sense that this is the way that Puerto Rico is going as well. Because, you know, like Puerto Ricans, they can just go and live in America, right? You know? So, okay, so yeah. It definitely makes sense why it would be the MDL first for them. Okay, well, the Spirit led me there to search that. But what's going on with their CBDC? Let's see. Let's see if they are doing... Puerto Rico does not have its own central bank digital currency, as it is territory of the United States and uses the US. Okay, there, boom, right? So they explained it. All right, yeah. Okay, so Puerto Rico probably isn't the best, but, you know, to bring out regarding that. But it does show, because Puerto Rico is in line with what is happening in America. So America's pushing mobile driver's licenses, which are digital IDs, a sneak way of bringing it in, right? And then America signed... They're not bringing in a central bank digital currency, but they brought in a digital money by way of signing the Genius Act last year, which the Genius Act was about bringing the stable coin into law, which is a digital money that works at a 1-to-1 ratio to the US dollar. So that is more than likely what is going to happen to Puerto Rico, that they would do the stable coin as well. Right? Anyway, point has been made, and that's just what it is. Of course, y'all know what it is, the judgment for taking the mark of the beast. Revelation 14 and verse 19. Salakia 14 and verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire, and our people in America who take the America chip are going to be destroyed. Salvation is only for the Israelites. So only the elect of the nation of Israel will be delivered from the thermonuclear fire that is going to hit America. And we know the number of them that will survive. 1/3 of our people are going to survive and 2/3 are going to be destroyed. Those 2/3 are going to be taking that America chip. So this is a warning from Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai to not take the America chip, which is the mark of the beast, onto the children of Israel. Okay, so that's just what it is. With that, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Akakodash. Shalom.